to Friday night. We're going to relax and unwind. So I'm just going to give people a moment to arrive here, and we'll get started. Welcome everybody. Just get yourself settled. I'm just going to put out some candles here and get set up for tonight's class. Okay. Hopefully I don't catch on fire tonight. Oh. So if you've joined me at 7 o'clock before, you probably hear all the salutes to the healthcare workers. I'm going to open this up. If you can hear that. There's like train horns and car horns and bells, and just taking a moment here to thank all of our people working in healthcare. I'm not sure if somebody's car alarm's going off or, yeah. All right, 7 o'clock salute. Okay, all right. Well, just a little bit all over the place there, I think. Hi, everybody. All right, so getting settled in. Hopefully, you can get yourself ready for tonight. We will be starting on our back. So if you'd like to lie down, you can go ahead and get settled onto your back. And if you're more comfortable sitting up, we're going to connect into our breath. You could also start on your seat. Okay, all right. So welcome if you're just joining. We're going to have a nice unwinding practice this evening. So just get yourself settled. If you're comfortable to be on your back, you can go ahead and come onto your back. And if not, we're going to start on our seat today, and we'll connect into our breath. And give yourself a couple clearing breaths here. In through your nose and out through your mouth. And just find a natural rhythm for your breath. If you want to bring a little bit more awareness to your breathing, you could breathe in and count to 4 or 5 or 6 without forcing your breath in, and then exhale to 4, 5, or 6, and maybe drawing your navel towards your spine at the bottom. And then you can continue to lengthen your breath if you like, or you can make your exhale a little bit longer than your inhale. And if you're on your seat, you could take your shoulders up, back, and down a couple times, rolling them back, finding a little length through your spine, and breathing all the way up into your collarbones, up into your heart space here. you're lying on your back, really feel the connection of the back of your body against the floor, breathing into the space between your body and the floor, filling that space up in the back of your body. And if you're on your seat, just noticing where your breath's moving, to the front, the back, the sides of your body. And feeling yourself rooted and grounded if you're on your seat through your legs and your sit bones. Take a few more breaths in this way, really bringing your awareness into your body and into the present moment. Just noticing yourself, whether you're sitting or on your back. Notice your body, notice your breath moving into your lungs, moving out of your lungs. For those of you that are on your seat still, you can make your way onto your back. For those of you on your back, once you get onto your back, you could bring your knees up into your chest. You can rock a little bit here from side to side. You can make some movement, some circular movement, if you like. A few times in one direction, a few times in the opposite direction. And then bring your feet to the ground. Walk your feet a little wider, perhaps as wide as your mat, and release your knees from one side to the other. And windshield wiper in here. I feel like I might burn myself if I have these candles too close, so I'm just gonna reconfigure slightly. Okay. Nobody wants to see my yoga pants get set on fire tonight, I don't think. All right. So coming back to the center, both feet on the ground. Take a couple deep breaths into your belly. Full exhales. You can bring your right knee up in towards your chest. Take your hands on top of your knee or your shin, and you could pause here in the center, or you can make a little bit of movement from side to side, and just allowing some space to come in here. And then take your right foot on top of your left leg, just above your knee, and just start to draw your right knee forward. You could hang out here. You could move a little bit here and just pause, or if you'd like, you can bring your left knee in towards your chest. And coming into figure 4 pose here, connecting back to your breath. Oh, excuse me. When you're ready, let's release that out. Let's extend both legs forward, all the way forward. Give yourself a full body stretch. Reach your arms back, stretch from your fingers to your toes. And walk both of your feet over towards the left side of your mat, and walk your upper body to the left side of your mat, coming into a crescent shape. So your arms could be overhead if your shoulder blades can rest on the ground. You can hold your right wrist with your left hand. You could cross your right ankle over your left, as long as that doesn't create tension or lift the right side of your body away from the floor. And you could also make a bit more of a crescent shape here. Coming back to your breath. A couple more full breaths into the right side of your body. Each time you exhale, soften come back to the center. Let's again bring our knees back into our chest, rock a little bit here from side to side. So you're just joining us, we're doing a very gentle yoga practice tonight. Very restorative, very relaxing. So hopefully, if you're just joining us, clearly I am too. Whew. All right, keep your left knee in towards your chest. You can bring your right foot down. You can hang out here, just having your hands on top of your knee or shin, or you can make a little bit of movement here from side to side, connecting back into your breath. Just making a little bit of movement for your hip joint. And then just when you're ready, placing your left foot on top of your right leg, just above your knee. And again, you can start to move your left leg forward a bit. And you can pause here and you can make some movement, or you can bring your right knee into your chest for figure 4. Relax your shoulders back down towards the floor and connect into your breath here. Just a couple more breaths on this side. And just a reminder that if something isn't feeling great, whatever I'm offering, if it's not working for you, just come out, find something different, or find something that does work for you. Just trusting in your body's wisdom here. So when you're ready, we're going to release that. Extend your legs out. You can give yourself a full body stretch here again if you like. And then we're going to move our legs over to the right, our upper body also to the right. So you're making a C curve, a crescent shape. Your arms can be overhead as long as your shoulders are on the ground. You could hold your left wrist. Some of you may be able to cross your left ankle over your right. If you're feeling a stretch here already, just pause and connect into your breath here. Take a few more breaths in on this side, breathing into your belly, breathing into your left side. And let's release, let's come back to the center. And again, let's bring our knees up into our chest, rock a little bit here, make some circular movements with your knees and connect into your breath. Oh, just yawning. Clearly I had a busy day today. All right, feet to the ground. I shouldn't joke. Some people did have busy days. I did not. Bring your feet down. Release your knees from side to side. I mean, I did a lot of work today, but it just wasn't outside of my home. So I didn't go too far today at all. All right, let's come back to the center, and we're going to move a little bit through some bridge and or hold. So you have an option to lift your hips as you inhale and lower on your exhale. Tonight I'm going to just press down, lift my hips up, and interlace my hands underneath. Now, some of you might want to come into a supported bridge pose. That could be just hanging out here with a block underneath your hips, or a bolster or a cushion. And you could come into a supported bridge. Hips are resting on the block. If it's creating a pinching in your lower back, just skip that. You don't want to feel that. Shoulder blades underneath you. So I guess I'm coming into supported bridge here tonight. But you could do bridge rolls, lifting on your inhale, lowering your hips on your exhale, or you could hold the bridge up with the strength of your legs here. A couple more breaths. And one more breath. So when you're ready, if you have the block underneath you, release that block or bring your hips back down, and let's again, one more time, knees to chest. And if you'd like to come into happy baby pose here, couple options. Some of you will grab behind your knees and draw your knees down. Some of you will be able to grab the inside of your knees and grab your ankles or the outside of your feet. And remembering this may not be for everybody. Try to relax your shoulders, your head back down towards the floor. Let's just take a few more breaths here. And when you're ready, we're going to release that out. And if you would like any kind of release, maybe extending your legs forward, give yourself a full body stretch, or knees to chest, or release your feet from side to side. Go ahead and do that, and then we're going to roll to our side, come up to our seats, coming all the way up. Okay. So, let's move into tabletop here. So, hands underneath your shoulders, knees underneath your hips, creating a bit of movement here through cat and cow. So arching and rounding, exhale to round, chin to chest, press through your arms, inhale, lift your hips, lift your chest, shoulders back. Now I always will guide people to close their eyes and maybe move in a way that feels good for you. So that could mean some side movement, maybe some more fluid movement. Sometimes people like to really get some fluidity moving and going. And whatever you're going to do, coming back to your breath here and connecting to your inhale and your exhale. If you'd like to, maybe extend one leg back, tuck your toes, press back through your heels, stretch through the back of one leg, come back to the center, extend your other leg back, tuck your toes under, press your heel back, come back to the center. If you like, you could extend a leg back and make some big hip circles with that leg, drawing your knee wide, and maybe a few times in the opposite direction. And then the other side. Or you could bring your knee into your chest and back. So whatever works for you here. Good. And just when you're ready, we're going to move back into child's pose. So you could support your head with a block or your hands. You could take your knees a little wider, get into your hips a bit more. Wherever it is that you are, take a couple clearing breaths here. So let's rise, let's come up to tabletop. And so you can do this from child's pose, you can do this from tabletop. We're going to extend our right arm out to the right. We're going to weave underneath. We're going to come down onto our right shoulder. And if you're in tabletop here, you're up a little bit higher, your hips are up higher, you could extend your left arm forward. You can keep your hand where it was. You can bring your hand to your lower back. And if there's too much pressure on your shoulder, you could bring your hand to the ground to support you here. And again, you can always do this from child's pose. A couple more breaths. And when you're ready, we're going to come back to the center, and then your left arm weaves underneath your right. Coming to the other side, which might feel different. And just checking in here, taking a few breaths. ready, let's come back up to center. Take a breath here. So we're going to take a couple options in Child's Pose. So hopefully Child's Pose is working for you tonight. First option is going to be having your arms forward and bending your elbows. Okay, so you could, for those of you that have yoga blocks, it does increase a little bit of the intensity, but I'll show you an option here. As you bring your elbows onto the blocks and your head comes down to the floor, forehead to the floor, and then you can work your thumbs back and you can walk your elbows forward. So you'll feel that deep stretch into your triceps, the back of your arms. If you don't have yoga blocks, it's totally fine. You could do the same. You could do the same thing here. Okay. You may come part way and might bring your thumbs back, wherever it is that you are. Breathing up into your heart space here. Letting your shoulder blades soften onto your back as you exhale. And if this isn't working for you at all, you just have your arms extended or stack your hands underneath your forehead. Okay, so just, again, listening to what your body needs tonight, which may be different from the last time you came to your mat. You could always bring your elbows wider apart too. When you're ready, we're going to come up. If you have the blocks, just move them off to the side for a moment. Let's take our upper body over towards the left, stretching out the right side of your body. So your right arm moving towards the left. Your left arm can actually come alongside you here. So you want to feel that stretch. Try to relax your shoulder. Try to anchor back through your right hip. When you're ready, let's switch sides. Let's come back through the center and let's come around onto our seat for a moment. So tonight's practice is going to be really quite gentle. We're going to continue to move very mindfully, and if you have a block or a rolled up blanket, come to sit on the front edge and bring the bottoms of your feet together and create some space. So move your feet forward. Actually, I'll move sideways today so you can see that. So bound angle. When your feet come in really close here, is one version of the pose, but we're going to move our feet forward and have more of a diamond shape. So there's space between your pelvis and your heels here. And then if you're on a block or blanket, move forward to the very front edge so your hips start to tilt forward, or you could prop yourself up with your fingertips. And then we're going to start to fold forward and down. Now anyone that has a bolster, some of you will, you could use that here to support your fold in any way that makes sense here. If you don't, it's okay. You might be folded in quite deeply. Some of you might be a little bit more lifted upright. Wherever it is that you are, try to relax your chin towards your chest. Take a few deep breaths into the back of your body. You could clear it out through your mouth. So think about releasing and letting go as you exhale. Inhale to draw in something that feels lighter. Exhale. Release any heavy energy that you might be holding. Just a couple more breaths here. As you're ready, let's lift all the way back up to center. And if you can lean back, bring your feet as wide as your mat. And if you like, release your knees, windshield wiper from side to side, and let that go. Or you could extend your legs forward. Shake it out a little bit here. Okay, so same thing, wiggle to the very front of the block or of the blanket. Extend both feet forward, flex your toes, and bring your fingertips beside you or behind you to lift and lengthen through your spine. Shoulders come back and down. So option one is to pause here and to just feel some length through the back of your legs, or you could root gently into your fingertips and begin to lean forward with your heart. So hinge from your hips, come forward. Now some of you might be able to lean forward quite far. Maybe you want to hold your legs. If that's the case, just start to lower your chin down, looking down towards your legs here so that you're not lifting your head and compressing the back of your neck. Take a few breaths here. When you're ready, let's rise and come up, and you can shake it out a little bit here. Let's come off of our seat and start with your right foot forward. All these props here tonight. Right foot forward. You could place a block or a rolled up blanket underneath your back knee. Take your right foot wider to the side. So take your right foot wider so your hands are on the inside. I'm going to turn and face this way. I heard today from somebody that when I step my right foot forward, you see me on the left. But when I'm looking, it looks like the right. It's just confusing. This whole video thing is so new. So hands on the inside. If you have yoga blocks, you could lift up a little bit higher here. Now, if you have room to move your back knee back, move it back so you feel a stretch through the front of your back hip. Some of you might be able to come down. Try not to round through your spine perhaps here if you can. And you can come down onto your forearms. Some of you can make it to the floor. It's not in the cards for me right now. I'm just going to hang out here and we're going to breathe in this lizard pose. I'm going to hang out. If you need to come out, sometimes if you need to come out anytime, come out. It's not always comfortable. Sometimes I make some movement here. Sometimes I just like stretch out for a second and then come back in. So whatever works for you. If you need to come out altogether, you can always come back to tabletop or to child's pose. Connecting to your breath. And as you're ready, begin to bring your right foot back. If you want to pause in child's pose for a breath, or you want to move through cat and cow, or you want to make some other movement, go ahead and do that. And then stepping your left foot forward. So your toes are turned out just so your knee can also move outwards. And if you have space, pick up your back knee and draw it back even further. Your hands can be up higher on blocks if you have them, or you can lower down here a little bit, or your hands can be on the floor. And movement or stillness, wherever it is that you are, connecting to your breath. It's funny, when I used to have cable, I used to only watch the Food Network. I was like obsessed with these like cooking and baking shows, but Netflix has this great Canadian baking show on right now, which I'm obsessed with watching, which I find very ironic because it seems like on Facebook every single person is baking bread and there's like a shortage of yeast for baking bread, which is kind of odd and unusual to me, but yeah, I guess people decided they want to make bread and eat bread now, which is pretty cool. But I'm just enjoying watching all of this stuff being made without eating it. I don't know why I felt like telling that story. Just been in my head, this show. A couple more breaths here, if you can hang out for a couple more breaths. And just whenever you're ready, we're going to move back, come back to tabletop, and again, you can pause, you can move to child's pose. You can move through cat and cow a couple times if you like. I think we'll roll up to a standing forward fold, so tucking your toes under. Walk your hands back, roll up onto your feet, and you can bring your feet as wide as you'd like. You could let your arms hang, you could grab opposite elbows, whatever feels good here, connecting though into your breath. Couple clearing breaths here. Maybe a little bit of movement from side to side, heel to toe. And then with your knees bent, press through your legs. Let's slowly ragdoll up to stand. Take a breath in. Good. All right. So we're going to do a little bit of an opening for the back of our legs. Right foot is forward, left foot steps back, and both legs are straight. Back heel's planted. So a long enough stride that so that you feel like you have to like hold a little bit, but not so long that your back heel's lifting. And then find a little length here. We're going to hinge forward and down. Now if you have yoga blocks, you could have them on either side of your foot or underneath your shoulder. They have 3 heights. And if you don't, and you can't reach the floor, bend your knee a little bit and place your hands on your upper leg. And if you can fold in here. And then start to square your hips. So work your right outer hip back, left hip forward. That's if your right foot is forward. Try to soften each time you exhale. Relax your head, relax your shoulders. And then we're going to start to lift up, and we're going to step forward this time, coming into a standing forward fold again. Take a couple breaths. You can let your arms hang. You can release from your blocks if you have them. A couple clearing breaths if you need. And then just as you're ready, we're going to step our right foot back this time, so your left foot is forward and back heel's planted. We're already folded in, so you could, if you have your blocks, walk them back and square your hips. Your left outer hip pulls back a bit here. And then if you can fold in. Sweater's suffocating me here. Couple deep breaths. As you're ready, we're going to step forward again, coming back into your forward fold. Release your blocks and let your arms hang or grab opposite elbows here. And then we're going to slowly ragdoll again up to stand. Take your time, come all the way up. Good, really nice. Okay, let's turn to face I'm going to turn to face you. You can stay where you're at. You can see me there. We're going to come into squat pose today. And we're going to do this a couple times. So feet a little wider than your hips, toes turned out. If you have a yoga block, you could perhaps use this. Now option 1 is to come to more of like a half squat here. So elbows above your knees. Second option would be to use your block or stack your blocks to come and sit on like a little perch here, or if you can fold all the way in, you'll be here. We're going to spend a couple breaths. If you'd like to close your eyes and take a couple deep clearing breaths, you can go ahead and do that. And then when you're push through your fingertips, lift your hips up, walk your feet in a little bit, fold in here. And if you'd like to take a toe lock, you can take your first 2 fingers on each hand between your big toe and second toe and fold in. Some of you might actually be able to take your hands underneath your feet with your palms facing up, and that's also an option here. Your toes are around your wrist crease, shoulders back and down. And just as you're ready, release. Lift up about halfway, bend your knees, hands to your hips, and come all the way up. Good. And then when you're ready, feet come wide again. And we're going to come back down into squat pose, Malasana. Again, you can go about halfway. You can come to sit all the way down, or you could use your yoga blocks as a midway point. Remember, you can always come out at any time. You don't want to feel pressure in your knees. If you need to, just come to your seat at any point. Let's take a couple more breaths here. So as you're ready, let's lower down, gracefully or not, and release that out either with windshield wipering your feet or releasing your knees side to side, just letting that go a little bit here. Great. How's everybody feeling? We've been doing lots of hips. We're going to do a little bit of a supported back bend. Now, if you have a bolster, you can use a yoga bolster. If you don't, I would suggest rolling up a blanket. If you have like multiple kinds of blankets, this one a little smaller, but it does the trick because it's dense. But you could do any kind of blanket, and you're going to roll it up into like a little tube and put it across your mat. And when you lie down on it, you want to be kind of in the middle back, so just clearing your shoulder blades, but not on your lower back. So everybody's anatomy is slightly different here, so I won't be able to see, but if you come onto I'm going to show you not to do. If you come down and your shoulders are here and your head's kind of like, you're up a bit too high, so you want to come down so that you feel like your shoulders are free and your head's a bit more free. You could also place a support underneath your head as well here. Now, if you have a bolster, you can do the same thing with the bolster across. It will be a bit of a deeper back bend that way. So if you have another block, one of the other blocks underneath your head for a little bit of support, that's good too. Now, any option for your legs. Your knees can be bent, your legs can be extended. You could also come to bound angle posture. And again, I don't want to get burnt. You could extend your arms out. You can move your arms overhead, or if that's too much, your arms come down beside you. So the key thing here is that you're feeling a little bit of a back bend in your upper back, it's a big heart opener. So be gentle with your breath if you need to as you're breathing here up into your heart space. And again, if you're feeling any pain or it's just not working for you, just make your way out. So with the bolster, a little bit lower on your back, you want to clear your shoulders and connecting into your breath here. Each time you exhale, see if you can soften a little bit. Let go of something that you're holding. It could be in your physical body, it could be some energy, it could be in your mind, it could be how busy your mind's been, any thoughts. So we're going to come out. You could roll to your side, use that momentum to press you up to your seat. Move your blanket or your bolster or any other props off to the side and come to lie onto your back, bringing your knees up into your chest, rocking a little bit here from side to side. Now I'm going to offer Pigeon Pose as an option for a hip opener, and if you know Pigeon doesn't work for you, you'll come back into Figure 4, which is here or here. You can even put a block underneath your foot. But if you're going to come into Pigeon Pose, you'll want to come back up to tabletop here and draw one knee to the side of your mat. You can move your shins or your foot across your mat slightly and then move your back knee back. Now, if you create tension in your knee, it's a good option to come out. Don't stay in anything that creates a load or pressure on your knee. And then you're just gonna fold on in here. Now, again, if Pigeon isn't working for you, tabletop is a great, Figure 4 on your back is a great option. So if you're in Figure 4 and you feel like you want to switch it up, you can. If you're in Pigeon and you're okay here for about 5 more breaths, stay here for about 5 more breaths. Just as you're ready, we're going to switch up sides. If you haven't already, if you're on your back and you've come to Figure 4, you've already come to the other side, just hang out there for a little bit longer, or you could switch sides again and do each side one more time. If you're in Pigeon, of course, whenever you're ready, making your way to the other side. And if you feel this creates a bit of a load on your knee, come onto your back for Figure 4. I'm going to spend about 5 more breaths here. Just as you're ready, we're going to come on out of this side. We are going to make our way back up to our seats, but if you would like to find a release, windshield wiper your knees if you're on your back, or come to Child's Pose for a few breaths first, go ahead and do that. We'll make our way onto our seat in just a moment. Okay, so thought we'd try something tonight. a little bit different, a little bit of an opener for the front of the hips. And if it's not feeling good in your shoulder, just skip it. So I'm going to show you first. So feet are down, hands are behind you, shoulders back and down. You can walk your feet back a bit. You're going to press through your feet, lift your hips, and then press into your hands and move yourself balance between your feet and your arms and lift your hips. Shoulders roll back and down. You could look up, you could look back, you could look forward, whatever feels good for your neck and your hips. When you're ready to come out, you'll come out, and then we'll kind of wrap around, hug into ourselves, and then we'll come up again for a second turn. So if you're ready to come up, that's cool. You can come back down, bring your arms around your legs, give yourself a little hug, take a couple clearing breaths. And then we will come in again. If you haven't come in yet, that's okay. This will be your first. Hands, fingertips pointing back towards your feet. Press into your hands, press into your feet, lift your hips up, and you're going to move some of the weight back into your feet. You don't want all the weight in your shoulders and arms, shoulders drawing back, wherever's comfortable for your neck. And we'll just take a couple more breaths here. And just when you're ready, lowering down. You bring your chin to your chest, hug in a bit. Clearing breath or two. Letting that go. So if you only came in once and you'd like to come in a second time, feel free to do that one again. And then we're going to come into boat pose, I think, or a modified boat pose actually. Shoulders back. So you can have your hands behind your knees. You can have your hands behind you as you just did. You're going to lift your feet up here or here, or you can lift one foot at a time. Connecting to your breath. And we are going to make our way onto our back again. So taking your time, roll onto your back, hug your knees up into your chest. Just going to adjust all the candles and lights as you do that. Once your knees are into your chest, you can rock a little bit. You could create some movement here. The days are getting much longer, aren't they, here? You really see the daylight still. I don't even know if you can see my candles here. I guess you can. Okay. So we're going to come into bound angle posture. Feet together, knees wide. And we did this seated earlier, so only difference is if your knees are up really high, you could place some support on your outer hips, outer legs with blocks or rolled up blankets. And then draw your shoulder blades underneath you a little bit. Your hands can rest belly, hips. You can take your arms overhead. You can take your arms out in line with your shoulders, whatever feels most comfortable here. Really focus your breath into your belly, into your pelvis. Each time you exhale, see if you can soften into your lower back. Maybe let your shoulders soften, back of your head relax. If you feel comfortable closing your eyes here, you can also do that. Just going to take a few more breaths here. Now you might want to help and support your legs back towards the center. Again, you can bring your feet wide, windshield wiper, release your knees side to side. You can extend your legs forward, release your feet side to side, let that go a little bit. Give yourself a full body stretch here, maybe again. Good. So we're going to come into a twist, and so you can move your hips over to one side. I'm going to move my hips to the left first, bring my knees up, over to the right, settle my legs to the floor. And here. If you don't have candles around you, you can extend your other arm out, unless of course you're going to catch on fire. I'm not going to extend my arm out to do that, so it's just going to rest beside me today. And then just each time you exhale, allow yourself to soften, let go a bit more. Each time you inhale, draw in a little bit of space. When you're ready, let's come back to the center. Let's take that twist to the other side and settling your legs to the floor. And again, wherever it's comfortable for your arms. And then come back to your breath, and this time breathing into the right side of your body if your knees are to the left. Each time you exhale, soften towards the floor. As you're ready, let's return to the center. So one last movement in the center here. It could be knees to chest, it could be happy baby, it could be bound angle, it could just be a little bit of movement here. Whatever it is that you need. And then getting yourself set up for Shavasana. We'll have a nice long, peaceful Shavasana here. And if you have a bolster, you can put it underneath your knees. Today I'm going to lie down along the length of the bolster, along the length of my spine. And, but you know, not everybody has these cushions. So lying flat on your back, if that's comfortable. I always like to give the option that if you're more comfortable on your side, in child's pose, or just coming to your seat, find a comfortable place to be here. We're going to be here for, a good 5 minutes, and you can give yourself a couple clearing breaths. If you have a blanket you'd like to put on, go ahead and do that. Give yourself a couple clearing breaths here, in through your nose, out through your mouth. Just give yourself permission to surrender, to let go a little bit more, to soften, and try to find this place of peace in this moment, a little bit of inner peace. Slowly begin to deepen your breath. You can make some gentle movements with your ankles, your wrists, fingers and toes. Maybe give yourself a full body stretch here. Just taking your time, coming over onto one side before making your way up to your seat. Make your way up onto your seat. Take a couple deep breaths here into your heart space. You could take one hand over your heart, one hand over your belly, or both hands over your heart. And give yourself a couple deep breaths of gratitude. Thank yourself for taking this time to be here, to practice in this way, to honor your body, to connect with your breath, which connects you to the present moment, keeping you rooted and grounded in the here and now. When we're so used to thinking about how things were or what are things going to be like later, and definitely at this point, that could create a lot of stress, a lot of anxiety, a lot of fear. So you can come home to your breath being in the present moment. It can just root you in the here and now, here and now, and just really be in your body, be right here for yourself. Excuse me. I want to thank everyone for being here, and I hope you have a very restful evening. Namaste. Thank you. Thanks everybody. Such an honor to be teaching these practices and these classes with you. I know there are some people that aren't on Facebook. So I have a YouTube. You can just Google Sipatri Yoga. On YouTube, it's going to come up. I'm going to send out a link. I'm going to post it up on Facebook. So if you have friends that aren't on Facebook that want to join in for yoga, it's all going to be, half of them are posted up on YouTube right now. My son's working on it for me to get the rest of the classes up by the end of tomorrow. So yeah, yay. Anyways, happy weekend, everybody. I'm going to be back on Monday morning, and we'll see how my schedule goes next week. And I'm hoping to find some consistent days. I'm also starting a Friday night, starting next Friday, 4 weeks will be a private class. If you want to join in, it'll be a registered class for stress and anxiety specifically. So if you have any questions about that, please send me a message and I can send out you the information. Oh, my cat finally made his way over. Hi, buddy. Did you say hi to everybody? Oh, you're not a cuddly cat. Pushy. Bye-bye. Okay. He doesn't like to be mauled. But anyways, have a great weekend. We'll see you soon. Bye.